We are talking about sustainable development and sustainable growth. But what is sustainable growth? We have seen at individual level, I can save environment, I can conserve environment in my way. At community level, it can be done. But what is sustainable development? Sustainable development was defined by the Commission of Environment and Development. They defined this in 1987. They defined that the development that meets the need of the present, the development that meets the need of the present without compromising the ability of future generations to meet their own needs. That means what we are doing, whatever development we are trying to do in this present era is our need. But we are doing this development without compromising the ability of the future generation. We are not compromising with the things which the future generation might not get. So it is very important that when we are thinking of conservation of an environment, when we are thinking of development and growth, we have to think of a future generation also, so that the future generation meet their own needs. This was the definition given by the Commission for Environment and Development. This was the World Commission for Environment and Development. In 1927 it was given. This definition was given. So you have to learn the definition of sustainable development. The World Commission for Environment laid down some objectives for this sustainable development. There should be some aim for which the commission is made. Now what is the objective of this commission? The commission objectives was to reduce the pollution. Now how will I reduce the pollution? Maybe by using the eco-friendly resources, by minimum wastage of resources. There are so many ways. So our aim, their aim was to reduce the pollution of the environment. Second objective was restrain the use of natural resource. The amount of natural resources used nowadays, we should limit it. We should not allow anyone to use any type of raw materials. Now people are entering the jungle, they are cutting the trees. Now this cutting of trees randomly should be stopped, and it is now an act that it is not allowed for any person to enter the jungle or the forest. We have to limit our natural resource use. So restrain from the use of natural resource. Third aim was for this commission was protection of environment. Now when I say protection of environment, it is in just general term. But how will I protect my environment? I as an individual should try to protect my environment so that everyone starts doing that. Now in some small thing, do not spit, do not throw the garbage on the road. This is small methods which we can do on our individual level. But what about the community level? The awareness have to be spread. Fourth is a social equality. Now they are talking about social equality in what terms? Are we equal for before? We are equal. All men and women are equal here. In society, what social equality they want to give? Social equality is for accessing the natural resource. That means I have a right to use certain resources. I have a right to use any other resource. There is no discrimination here. So every person can use the raw material, but in some limited amount. And fifth objective was continuous economic growth. Now when I talk of sustainable development, it also includes the growth. The growth in terms of your country, your community, your city, your village, but it also includes the growth in terms of economy. That means the money or the financial growth. So if I am making use of raw materials for financial growth or the economic growth, I have to keep in mind that I have to protect my environment. These were the objectives which the commission laid in front of us when they made this definition in 1927. That we are doing every type of development because this is the need of the hour. We are growing, we are developing. But it doesn't mean that we are going to hamper or make use of all the raw materials which we should keep for the future generations also. Now objectives were laid down. But how to achieve these objectives? What are the steps I can use to take this objective or to achieve this objective? There are various types of steps which can be taken. So to achieve the objectives which were laid down by this commission, there were various steps like this. We are going to understand one by one what steps. Exam point of view, you should know what are the objectives. These are the 5 objectives of the commission which gave the definition of sustainable development. Development which stays here, which is used for our growth and development. Now, the first step is conservation of energy. How we are going to conserve energy? How we are going to save energy? How we are going to save energy using the raw materials available to us? We are using nowadays coal, we are using petrol, we are using gas, which are not renewable. So what to do? We can replace them with alternative source of energy to conserve these type of energy fuels. The alternative source of energy should be such that it is protecting the environment, it is not wasting the energy which we are getting from it, and it is spreading the awareness among the people that using this inexhaustible sources of energy, we are actually saving the environment. Inexhaustible sources of energy include air, include water, include biogas, include the manure which can be made. So we are trying to make it by using the things which are easily available in nature and they are not going to finish. And this is how we can conserve energy. If you have heard about what is PCRA, they have given lot of steps, lot of tips how to conserve petrol, how to conserve diesel, how to conserve the fuel. What does PCRA stands for? PCRA is the Petroleum Conservation Research Association. Petroleum conservation, conserve petrol. That means how to conserve petrol. There is an association which is researching on it. So Petroleum Conservation Research Association. They have given various tips how to save petrol. I have taken petrol in my car to drive the car, but how can I save this petrol? They have given various steps. For a small example, when you are standing in the traffic signal, put off your car, or always have a servicing done on your vehicle so that it does not use extra amount of petrol. Such small tips which we can use. Make use of government vehicles like buses and taxis instead of your own vehicles, so that at a place if 5 people have to go, they can carpool, they can go by the bus, but instead of taking their own vehicles. So in this way you are saving petrol. This is how the conservation of energy can be done. Second, conservation of water. This is the second step. Now you know our earth is covered by 70% water, but are we using that 70%? We are actually getting only 7% which is consumable water. The water which can be consumed, that is fresh water. All rest thing is seawater. So out of that 7% water, what is accessible to human beings? It is only 1%. So imagine we have only 1% of that huge 70% which we actually can use for consuming. When I say consuming, basically for drinking purposes. And we also need the fresh water for other purposes where we are using water. Now out of 70%, we are getting 7% which is actually fresh water. From the 7%, we are actually accessible to only 1%. So this is very important. One drop of water is also very important. In the whole world, so many people are not getting water. What will you do at personal level or individual level to conserve this water? Can you just waste water? Nowadays we are seeing, if there is no rainfall, what sort of shortage of water we are facing in our country. People are not getting water to drink. People are not getting water to various uses, which in the kitchen, in the industries, in the factories, in any household, anywhere. So water has to be conserved. What way at individual level you can save water? Instead of, we can reuse water. Simple thing, inside the home, if you are washing your vegetables, that water should not be thrown away. That can be used for planting plants which you have in your house and giving them water. Small things can be done. That means in your toilets also, instead of the flush, we can make use of the less water. So this is how we can conserve water. Water should be conserved, and it is very important raw material for various industries also. So water is utilized by each and every organism and for every purpose which are helping us for developing and growth of our country. So conservation of water is very important. There are some facts which are given in your book. 1.1 billion people in the world do not have access to safe water. Safe drinking water is not being given to them, or they are not able to access them. There are many reasons for it. Maybe they do not have fresh water. Maybe they are so poor that they cannot afford even to take the water. Actually, we are paying for water what we get in our houses also. It's not so easy for water to come to each and every house. It's a big system, and that system also asks money. Now there are 5.3 billion people who will suffer from water shortage by 2025. This is just an estimate that maybe in another 15 years what might happen, another 10 years what might happen. People will not get water. Millions of children cannot go to school if they do not have water, because they will be busy only in fetching the water. This is one of the just imagination after various years what might happen. Third is conservation of biological resources. When I say biological resources, it includes plants, animals, microorganisms. So whatever is living, that is biological. So if I am saying plants, animals, microorganisms, why we should protect them? It is very necessary that we have to protect plants, we have to protect animals, and in turn we have to protect microorganisms also. Plants are the producers of food on this earth. If the plants are not there, food will not be produced, because plants are the only organisms which have the capability of preparing their own food. Animals, human beings, microorganisms, everyone is dependent on them, and therefore plants have to be conserved. Plants are found in forests and jungles, so the forest's conservation is very, very important. It is giving us so many raw materials. It is giving us rubber, paper, gum, resins, firewood. So many things are coming from forests. Why we should conserve animals? Animals are forming the food chain and the food web, and the transfer of energy takes place properly. But if the animals are killed, then this food chain and food web gets disturbed, and this creates a large amount of problem when the energy transfer is concerned. Now what will happen if I am cutting down the plants? It might lead to soil erosion. Soil erosion, what does it mean? It means that if there are no plants, no big trees, what might happen? The roots might not hold on to the soil. When roots do not hold on to the soil may get flown away with water. The topsoil, if it gets removed, all the fertile soil is going away. When the fertile soil is going away, obviously the soil is losing its fertility. This is the next effect of soil erosion. When soil erosion takes place, cutting of wood is taking place, obviously the rainfall will be less, because the water vapor is not formed so much. So rainfall will be less, and ultimately it will change to global warming. The global warming is the amount of heat which is increased in the atmosphere. So the global warming might be the result of cutting of woods, cutting of forests, killing of animals, and all this might have a great effect on our environment. How we should conserve biological resources? We should not overuse them. What is our need? We are actually double the time we are using them. We should limit our uses. The depletion or the biological resources, if it get reduced, what might happen? It might have a great effect on agriculture, industrialization and urbanization. So every industry, every agriculture is dependent on plants, and if we are just not aware of conservation of biological resources, we might include a greater amount of pollution in the environment. So for this, to create awareness, what can be done? Many times in schools you must have seen there are nature clubs, eco-friendly clubs, conservation clubs. What are these clubs made for? These clubs are made for you to understand as a student, as a teenager, what can be done or what is your role in conservation of this forest or conservation of our environment. You must have heard about Chipko movement, the Narmada Bachao Andolan. Then these are the movements which are actually people are working for conservation of environment. They are not just working for their name. They are working for conserving environment and conservation of biological resources. Then fourth is reduction in pollution. Now so many things I just told you, how we can make use of raw materials efficiently. So pollution actually is a very major concern in our India or in the world. What can be done? Large amount of pollution is seen. Air pollution is seen, sound pollution is seen, then soil pollution is seen, water pollution is seen. Now if pollution means what? The amount of extra substances which is adding to the environment which is not required by them, that is called as pollution. Now automobiles, they are creating so much amount of gas and pollution. If you go on a highway also, you cannot just breathe the air, because so much amount of smoke is coming from each and every vehicle. That's why the government has made various rules, and those rules are known as Bharatiya norms. What are these norms? The norms that it has to be, your vehicle should be serviced properly. You should have a PUC, that is pollution under control certificate, so that it proves that your vehicle is not creating pollution above the limits. So there are many things which actually is adding to the pollution, and we can stop that pollution. Many of the products will have this mark which is called as eco mark. Eco mark means that product is eco-friendly. Even if I am just disposing of, it will not harm the environment. There is a mark which is called as recycle mark. This recycling mark is also seen on various products. If you go to the market and if you are given a bag which contains such type of mark, that means it is a recyclable mark. It is the product made after recycling of some product. So these are the marks which we can make out, that how the substances, are they eco-friendly, whether they can be biodegradable or not, or whether it can be recycled or not. Then third is reduce, reuse and recycle. I said there are 3 R's which are very important. These 3 R's, what is the 3R technology? This question is asked many times. Explain 3 R's. So what are the 3 R's? Reduce, that means first, if you are using raw material, reduce the use of raw material. Do not take so much raw material which is not needed. So that is reduce the amount of things used. If you have to use, and if you don't want later on, but you can reuse it, please try to reuse it. We can find out some products, some goods inside our homes also, we are just throwing it away. I don't need it, I will throw it. Can I use it in some other way? The small thing, you take a powder box, powder is over. What you do with that, you throw it away. It can be reused in a sort of pencil box holder or pen holder. So many things, small things can be made. I can reuse the paper. I can reuse the paper for making the envelopes. I can reuse the paper for making some other article. So reuse is very important. Now, if I am not reusing it, like plastic, broken plastic, then rubbers, glass materials, it gets broken, I cannot use it. So I can send it for recycling. So these 3 R's are very important for conservation of your environment. It keeps the environment clean. That means we are not adding to the pollution by doing this 3 R's in our life. Now what is very important part is population control. All the demand is coming because we are having so much problem of population. Population is increasing day by day. When population increases day by day, obviously demand is going to increase. This is straight factor. Population increases, demand increases. Population decreases, demand also decreases. Then what to do? If the population is increasing, the people will go for more use of raw materials. The raw materials which are present in the environment. So fertile lands, they will try to make use of fertile lands more and more. More and more of fertilizers will be used. More and more of industries will be coming up in the vicinity. More and more of factories will come. When more factories, more industries, more land is used up, what might happen? That land may become barren because of large amount of fertilizers being used. Or something they happen that if I go for urbanization, I am destroying many of the environmental resources. So this is an ongoing activity. Continuous activity is going on because the population is increasing. The government and the international community is also thinking of so many various ways to create awareness among the people that how it is useful if we keep the population under control. Our growth and development directly is proportional to the population. If population increases, growth also will increase, but at the cost of your environment. This is the population control. Next is consumerism. Consumerism means what? Suppose I go to a supermarket. Now when I enter the supermarket, I need 2 or 3 things, but I end up in buying 10 things. This is consumerism. I am actually wasting my money, I am actually wasting my time, and I am buying things which are of no use to me immediately. I don't need many things. Just because there is a sale going on, just because they are giving us offers, it doesn't mean that we have to buy those things. If you want some things, make a list of it. Do not try to buy another 4th thing. This is communism. You have to limit yourself. You have to limit yourself to buy things which are not necessary for you. It is said that population of US is only 5%. But this 5% population is consuming 20% of the world resources. They have money. They are using this money to buy unnecessary things. 5% population is utilizing 20% of world resources. Imagine how much wastage they are doing. Another wastage which we can talk about is e-waste. What is e-waste? E-waste is electronic waste. What is electronic waste? Nowadays so many computers are used, mobile phones are used, tape recorders are used, music systems are used, laptops are used. What happens once we do not use them, or it gets some problems come, it does not run. After all, it is a machine. We just throw it. We just give it to the dump yard. What is happening after that? These are made by fine chips which are actually carrying so many things, and this all things is called as e-waste. The waste from the laptops, from the mobile phones, from the computers, from the refrigerators, ACs, then the PCs which we are using, then printers, fax, all these things add up to the e-waste. And this e-waste is also very hazardous, very dangerous. It is not very safe for the environment if we are just throwing it away. We are thinking that I have given to that person. What is that other person doing with this e-waste? He is passing on to the other person. Whatever things can be used, they are using, but finally it is going to the dump yard, and that becomes very dangerous. It is hazardous to the environment. How hazardous? many types of chemicals might leak from them. It may go and get mixed with the groundwater also. So environmentally it is not good for this. So much amount of e-waste is coming out from the world today, and this is actually the fact of today, a present era. Now last part is decision making. Who has to decide? Who has to make the decision making? The international community, our countries, different countries, the commissions which are set up for the saving the environment. These people have to make some decision regarding the environmental conservation. They have a global democratic outlook, and this global democratic outlook should try to find out some ways for creating awareness among the people, and how to create awareness, how to implement those objectives which they have laid down. There are so many problems still in our country, in our world, in front of us. What to do about this sustainable development, how to preserve this sustainable life on this earth. And these all things are objectives which can be achieved by these steps. And these steps are very important for a common man to understand, and therefore it has been kept for you teenagers. If you understand now, your future generation is already safe. If you don't understand, you will not understand the importance of our environment and its conservation.